Hey everybody, welcome to River City Waves, where we're having some conversations about some of life's important questions. I'm Kenny, and joined as always by Pastor Robbie. Hello, sir.
Hey man,
How's it going?
I'm okay. Hey,
Good.
can I just give a shout out to Nick Kinky?
Yeah, I wish you would.
He is behind the camera.
Yes.
He
Yes,
is
he
our
is.
engineer person here
Yep.
every time.
Every time.
And thanks, Nick, for what you do, man.
Making us sound good and look good every
yeah.
week.
Well, I
Appreciate
don't know.
you.
I don't know if he can make.
There's only so much you
It
can
can
do.
be hard.
right?
It can be hard to do.
Welcome, Pastor Adam Howard, our executive pastor at River City. How's it going?
Yeah, it's going great. Thanks for having me on. It's my first time on, but I just want to say,
Newbie.
like, I love what you guys are doing with this podcast. I think that, like, anytime that, like, you guys, all these topics that you're doing, and it just seems so connected to, like, the life of our church and, like, Pastor Robbie, what you're preaching on. And but I just want to say I love that the audience, that you all get a chance to hear from and see
Yeah.
Pastor Robbie like this, because I always feel like every time in any platform, Robbie, that you're speaking and teaching, on Sunday mornings, it's always good. But personally, I have always felt like I get spoiled, because I love the times where you have this, like, smaller, just casual ability to just do, like, leadership conversations and just dialogue about the topics. And that's like I soak it in the most when, like, I get these, like, closer encounters with you. But I love that I always felt spoiled, because I would get that opportunity and I know so many wouldn't. But so I love how they're getting this opportunity, and Kenny, you're getting to put this on. So I think it's great. I love that. What's been going on with each episode.
There you go. Shout out
Wow.
to you.
Yeah,
Look at
I'm
that.
having a lot of fun with it.
It's awesome. We're going to dive into a topic today that I imagine people might have quite polarized initial responses to.
Wait. I thought we were gonna have favorite snacks.
I mean, I was. Let's do it. Okay, I told these guys I wanted to hear from them about their favorite snacks. I mentioned we never outgrow that part of our childhood. Like, let's be honest, I put those 4 kids in bed and then I hit the pantry because I'm looking for some kind of a snack that not only feeds my body but feeds my soul. So when you're looking for your favorite snack, what is it?
Me?
Yeah, tell me.
Oh, man.
Tell the people.
Hands down, it's zebra cakes.
This kills me.
Zebra cakes are the best snacks. And, like, I know some people are like Twinkie people or Ding Dong people.
Oh, wow.
If you're a Star Crunch person,
Ho-hos.
Oh, I forgot about those.
you're in sin. But but I know there are others. But zebra cakes are the best. And we just came from actually the best zebra cake season.
Yep.
Because I don't know if you know this. And if you don't, you're about to dropped some wisdom
Get
right
ready.
now.
Get ready.
Which is that zebra cakes have these specialized Christmas tree
Yep.
zebra cakes
Oh.
during December.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They sell out at the beginning of the month every year.
time.
So that was a good season.
I have bought them for you before.
Yes, you have.
Have you ever had the jumbo ones? Do you know there's 2 different size trees?
Of zebra cakes? Yes.
Yeah. It's too much.
Yeah.
Anyway, rescue this, Robbie.
Well, I had understood that we were going to talk about our favorite childhood snack. Maybe it's
Do
his
it.
favorite childhood
Well,
snack. Perhaps. Today I'd say one of my favorite snacks is movie popcorn with butter on it and
But
salt.
do you do the straw trick where you put the straw all the way down in the bag of popcorn and pump the butter into the top of the straw so that as you're lifting the straw, the butter is dispersing through all layers of the popcorn?
I don't make the popcorn myself because I'm at a movie. I'm talking about movie theater popcorn.
Yeah, but don't they – sorry, new to Indiana. They don't like have a station there where you add your own additional
I've seen
butter?
that in theaters, not the Goodrich Quality Theaters,
Oh,
but
okay.
what is awesome about Goodrich Quality Theaters, obviously you're ignorant about it,
Clearly.
is that you buy this golden ticket bucket for $25, and all year long you can refill the thing for $2.50.
Really?
And it's enormous, and so yeah, that's one of the great pleasures of life. But actually, my favorite childhood snack is the Twinkie.
Really?
Because when I was a kid, I lived in Albany, Indiana, which is a small town outside Muncie, and we lived in the house that was built by a man named Jim Dewar. Jim Dewar invented the Twinkie.
Stop.
Yes,
What?
he had 2 sons who went into the NFL. And he invented that Twinkie because he was going to the factory every day, and he would bring these he would bring these little cakes that he would make filled with whipped cream. And
You
then
lived
he
in-
started offering it to other people. Yeah, I lived in the
Wow.
home of Jim Dewar, who invented
You lived in the Twinkie house.
Yeah, and so I thought that was so cool. But my mom, she was too into health food.
Oh,
Anybody have a mom like that?
what about
Like she would be real stingy about buying soda, Pepsi, and all this stuff. I'm like, Mom, my friends are cool because they have Lucky Charms,
Yeah.
and there's like Total in my house. You know?
Here's some Wheat Thins, not frosted. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds sad.
Sad.
Well, Twinkies, zebra cakes, popcorn is mine for sure, in case that wasn't obvious a few moments ago.
Links to all of these on Amazon
That's
will
right.
be in your
Yeah.
show notes.
Okay, before we digress any further, let's talk about all things coaching. This is a little bit of like a newer phrase that maybe people are or are not aware of. We've come through a season in recent years where like self-help was pushed really hard, right? But like coaching is not self-help. In some ways. In other ways, I think there's some shared components there. But we want to unpack this idea. We think it's a really valuable tool for a Christ follower. We think it's a really great thing. So we would just want to talk about that a little bit today. And I think that's a great place to start, really, is kind of defining what is coaching, and then we'll kind of get into it a little bit further. But Adam, you've got some history with this and some recent
Sure.
experience with it. So why don't you kick it off?
Yeah, well, I love this topic. I'm glad that getting an opportunity to talk about it because, for us at River City Church, we're diving into this more and more.
Yeah.
And coaching, it is something that has become more buzzworthy in recent years, but really coaching has been around for a long time. And it's a pretty simple concept. There are some certain things that make it distinguished from other things like counseling, for example. But coaching really is, simply put, it's partnering with people, partnering with the person that you are in this coaching relationship with, in a way that is to really kind of be thought provoking and kind of allow a person an opportunity to explore their perception of themselves or certain goals that they might have, certain obstacles that they might feel like they're facing. It's really just a way for you to partner with that person and allow them an opportunity to discover something about themselves that maybe they think they know, but they're just not thinking of, or maybe they just don't realize about themselves. And that's what I love about coaching too, is coaching really is flipped from a lot of other help sessions like that, where maybe you're going to a counselor or a doctor or a trainer or a mentor. Coaching has a really unique part about it that I think is so applicable to our culture today. And that is that in a coaching relationship, as you are being coached, you're the expert, not the coach. The idea here is that you already have all of the potential inside of yourself. You have the ability to arrive to conclusions, to discover things about yourself and objectives that you would like to take next steps on. You have all that. What the coaching relationship does is really allows another person into the conversation to help you get outside of yourself, and somebody to make observations with you, listen with you, and then coach you, encourage you towards making next steps in your life. And so that's coaching in general. But what I would say that is a little bit more specific for us, of course, is that we do Christian coaching.
Yeah.
And Christian coaching, it is all of that, but a little bit more focused in that the idea that in Christian coaching, we're inviting a third person into the conversation. So we're inviting the presence of God into the conversation, the Holy Spirit. And that's really the distinctive in Christian coaching is not only am I, the person who's being coached, the expert, but Christ living in me and the power of the Holy Spirit is the expert. And so that ability for me to understand where God is leading me and what the Holy Spirit may be speaking to me and leading me in the midst of a coaching relationship. That's what makes Christian coaching. So
That's cool. And Pastor Robbie, you're not new to this world of coaching or Christian coaching. I know you and Tracy both at varying levels have different experiences with this. And I'm curious to hear from you. Who would you say benefits from coaching?
Anyone who's wanting to look ahead and take next steps in their life.
Yeah, so you wouldn't say that coaching is just for someone who like finds himself in a tough spot.
No. And one of the differences, for example, between coaching and counseling is that counseling is about looking back and sorting out kind of why you're in the mess you're in.
Sure.
Coaching is forward looking. And so in some ways, people who are the most successful, they probably benefit the most from coaching.
Okay.
But everyone can benefit from coaching. And Tracy is a certified life coach. Adam is in the midst of that process. Although the something that we offer here, a premarital counseling that's called SYMBIS, SYMBIS, Save Your Marriage Before It Starts. It's also used for people who have already been married, but that's a specialized kind of coaching that has to do with premarital counseling, getting clear on expectations and different things, and that's something that Adam is certified in, and his wife Sarah, as well as my wife Tracy, Xander and Taylor Bradford, who are also here. He's the West Lafayette pastor. They're all certified with SYMBIS. So that is a form of coaching. But in 2020, Tracy became a coach. There's another woman in our church. Her name is Sharita Yazvac, and she is a certified coach as well. And she's certified in a number of areas. But and then we have another certified coach in our church, as well as some other people that are in the process of getting certified. So we're wanting to see this increase because, it benefits everybody. In the last about a year and a half ago, I started a process with a coach. My wife had been telling me I needed to see a coach, and I didn't know exactly what it meant or what it was, and at first I was like trying to find a pastor who would coach me, because I thought, well, a person who's not a pastor is not really going to understand me. But what happened was I ended up with this guy. He had come out of the corporate world. He was in mergers and acquisitions with IBM, and he was done with that. He was a Christian, but not really ever been a pastor. But man, I had a 6-month basically relationship with him, talked to him a couple times a month. And as I took the steps that we uncovered that I needed to take, all kinds of changes began to happen in my life that were so positive. And it's like simple stuff, but I wouldn't have found the way there on my own.
So is this the part where you say Tracy was right?
Oh, shoot, yes. She was absolutely right.
Adam, I love what you mentioned about like not just coaching, but Christian coaching, and how we invite the power of the Holy Spirit into the process. Yeah. So it really speaks to an idea that I wanted to ask you guys about, that being the correlation and connection between coaching and then being a biblical idea, this being supported by Scripture. What would you say to people who are curious about like the idea of like, does the Bible say that I should engage in a process like this?
Yeah, sure. I mean, Proverbs 27:17, as iron sharpens iron, so does one man sharpen another. And there are a lot of ideas found in Scripture in that idea, in that sense. And actually, that's a lot of what goes into our second step here at River City Church, which is to find freedom. Whenever we're talking about that idea of people being able to break free of, grow out of hurts and habits, hang-ups in their lives, we're always talking about as a systematic step to do what? join life groups.
Yeah,
And what is the idea there is that again, people being together, that is an unlock for us. Proverbs can help you there. But I would also suggest the idea that Jesus coached a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's Mark chapter 8, I want to say. There's this that Jesus is with his disciples, and he kind of leads them through a coaching session. He's trying to have a conversation about the idea that he is the Son of God, he is the Messiah. But what a mentor might say, or what somebody who's maybe in some position of authority might think that the easiest thing to do is to tell them that. Say, hey, do you know that I'm the Son of God? But that's not, in fact, what he does. He asks them questions. And his first question is, who do people say that I am? And then the disciples. I love the New Living Translation. I love because the first word of the disciples' answer is, well. That's their first thing. Well, some say you're Elijah, and they give other thoughts. Some say you're John the Baptist, and then Jesus asks another question. He says, who do you say I am? And so that right there, and of course the disciples, kind of respond and say, well, we think you're the Son of God. We think you're the Messiah. And that right there actually is coaching.
Yeah.
Because coaching has 3 really big ingredients to it. And if you've never heard of coaching before and you're like, I still don't understand, what is the difference between coaching and something else? Coaching has 3 main ingredients. And the first one is listening, like really good listening. And if you're in a coaching relationship where somebody's coaching you or you're attempting to coach someone else, listening is the first and biggest part of coaching. You're not telling, you're listening. And listening's hard to do. I feel like a lot of times in our culture, even as we are attempting to listen to someone, we're trying to formulate the next thing we're going to say. So that's really hard. But Jesus did that so well in that, in how he interacted with his disciples and the people, in that there's real quality listening going on. That's really one of the big ones. Is you really have to understand, what is the person saying when you're coaching them, or what are you attempting to say? Like if you get into a coaching relationship, please know you're going to be doing most of the talking, because like we said earlier, you're the expert on the matter of you and where you're trying to go. But the second big ingredient to that is questions, and that's what Jesus was showing us there, of course, is powerful questions. Coaching is full of powerful, intentional, I've listened to you really well, so very accurate, thought-provoking questions. And powerful questions can be harder to come by. I think that, like, a lot of times we're Robbie, sometimes when I see you and I meet you, I'm saying to myself, or I'm asking you, I'm saying, hey, how are you doing? And okay, that's a question, but that's really hard for you or anybody to answer with a good answer. Like, powerful questions get powerful answers. So if my question to you is, hey, how's it going? What are you going to say?
I'm okay.
I'm okay. I'm good, But if I were to change that and ask a more thought-provoking question, a powerful question that maybe has come from listening, that has come from observation, and say, hey, Robbie, I noticed that you're just really in high spirits today. What has been going on today that has met or has there been anything going on today that's met your expectations or superseded your expectations? How are you the way you are today? That's an interesting question, because that comes with specific observation and gives the ability for a more powerful answer. For maybe you to say, well, yeah, that's true, because this has happened today and this, and I'm just so excited that those things have happened today. So that's the second bit of ingredient for sure. The last one is next steps. That's the big one. Every coaching relationship, you're listening, you're asking these powerful questions, but a coaching session together is So what is happening next for you? What can you do next? What conversation, what step are you going to take to move towards this goal, this finish line, this objective that you're reaching? Because I would say, too, that you can have really good listening and you can have powerful questions. But if you don't move into a next step, your coaching time is kind of just turned into complaining time. Whether it's positive complaining or negative, it's really just been, this is what I'm not, and this is where I'm struggling, and this is what's difficult for me. This is where I'd like to be. This is what I wish I could do. Well,
like, what are you doing about that?
See you later,
Yeah.
And I would say to everybody watching too, this applies to everybody, whether you're a certified coach or anything like that. We're all involved in complaining sessions. We'll always get into conversations with other people where there is some of that, whether we're complaining about ourselves or other people's circumstances around us. But you could turn, just with that ingredient, just with the next step, you could turn any complaining session into a coaching session if you just think about asking a powerful question like, wow, what is something that you're going to do about that? What's something you can do about that this week? Is there a step you can take in that attitude that you feel bogged down in? And what's something you could do like this week that would make a difference? You kind of turn some complaining into coaching. So,
And in general, is that what you would say a typical coaching session looks and feels like? Is it got those three ingredients there, or is it more than that?
Yeah,
someone's interested and they're hearing this and they're like, I think I might want to explore getting engaged with something like this. What do they expect?
Yeah, that's it. That's, a typical coaching session starts with, what do you want to talk about?
Excuse me.
Because again, you're the expert. So what do you want to talk about today? What kind of things do you want to have a conversation about? So you can always expect that. And then you can typically expect a lot of powerful questions, but a lot of times, not every time, but a lot of times I would say the goal would be that you could expect an aha moment. And it comes in all different shapes and sizes, but that would be the goal. That would be a goal of a coaching session, is for the dialogue, the questions, to help you arrive to a moment where you discover something that maybe you already knew about yourself but you weren't thinking of, or you discover something about yourself you were not thinking of, you did not know. And then the last thing I would say is what a next step. That's something you could always expect, is now that you kind of have arrived at some clearer thinking, then what is it you can do to begin to walk yourself to that objective or that goal or whatever it was in the beginning of the conversation that you said, I'm really hoping to figure this out or make this kind of decision.
And Robbie, you've mentioned that you've been engaged in a coaching process. That's something that's not just happened in a session one time for 60 minutes, right? Like, would you advise people to be that are wanting to engage in coaching? Is it a lengthy process? Is it something that's shorter? What do you think's been beneficial in terms of the timeline that someone's involved in coaching, and for you specifically?
For me, there was a 6-month period, and so there were a dozen of these coaching conversations. Some people go on further. Some people, constantly have a coach in their life, kind of thing. But I would want to point people also to the fact that, if you're a part of River City Church, for example, and you're interested in a coach, we do have a coaching ministry. It's called Abundant Life Coaching.
Yeah.
With these certified coaches we're talking about, just write to coaching@rivercity.info.
Yeah.
And tell them you'd like to talk about that. If you're part of River City Church, this is something that's available free to you.
Yeah.
Because we think coaching and discipleship, they're things that really go hand in hand.
Yeah. Unpack that thought just a little further. The idea of coaching and discipleship being a partnership.
Yeah. Well, as Adam mentioned, Jesus is a person who almost exclusively teaches individuals through asking them questions. Who do you say that I am? That's a great question. Why do you call me good? He asked the rich young ruler. He asked Peter at the end of John, "Do you love me?" You know, these things are these things are all ways that Jesus was asking questions, and he was like moving people forward in their relationship to God and with Him. And I'd say that in general, we need to have, in terms of discipleship and growing more into the likeness of Christ, we need to have somebody in our life that can ask us these important, powerful questions, like Adam was talking about. That's likely what will lead to, like, a catalytic kind of change in our lives. A lot of times, if we follow the Lord for a certain amount of time, we just need to know, like, what do I need to do next here, or what's something that I can, what's something that I can do that will push me forward,
Sure,
in my relationship with God, or in my relationship to my spouse or to my children, or whatever it is, or how can I find how can I start to function more in my purpose and gifting?
yeah.
Those are all things that coaches are really great to help you with.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate hearing this. Thanks to both of you for coming and sharing about this today. I think it kind of demystifies maybe some initial concerns that some people may have about this idea of coaching. And it sounds like it's something that everybody can benefit from. There's so much to unpack there. So we want to go ahead and just make sure that we leave this link, Robbie, that you spoke about, where people who want to get engaged with coaching, they can. So you'll find that in the show notes wherever you are consuming this content. And if you find that this content is especially helpful to you, do us a favor. Share that with others that you think could benefit from hearing about this. Again, you'll find the link for getting more info on coaching in your show notes. Don't forget that we have more content that drops on River City Waves every first and third Tuesday of the month. And we will check you out next time for our next podcast on River City Waves. See you then.